Hi, everybody. I'm Tabby Cat of Tabby Cat Games. With us is my co host.
Hi, I'm Paul from Shiny Metro Trainer. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
We're going to have technical difficulties today, guys.
Yeah, quite a bit of stuff we had to do first.
Um, to start off, just want to thank everybody who's here tonight. Looks like we've got quite a few. Um, I want to thank God and my husband for giving me an opportunity to be able to do this, and for Paul for saying, "Hey, I heard you wanted a podcast. Why don't we team up?" So that's kind of a new thing that we've been working on for what, about a month and a half.
About that, yeah.
And if it wasn't for people like Nintendo Prime, Paulville Network, Thunderstash, and Sky Sword Alyssa, I probably wouldn't have tried this. But I also had my little brother who helped me with some technical difficulties and helped me get a few things set up as well before he took off to home and now wherever he's running around at. And my husband's trying to keep the dogs quiet tonight, so shout out to him. Um, I've been a gamer most of my life. Um, Started off with the old version of Sega and Atari, and just kind of moved from there to the NES, Sega Genesis, begging my little brother to borrow his Game Boy Color so that we could play Pokemon and try not to reset his stuff. He didn't like it when I did that. And we'd even do the Pokemon cards and stuff. But he and I were kind of super competitive when it came to the games. My little sister, not so much. But as we grew up, I kind of, yes, as he's pointed out, I did that 3 times. um, as we grew up and moved on to our own lives, got into the 64, GameCube, still have my Wii and Wii U, and now the Switch and the Switch 2. I do a little PlayStation gaming too, but not a ton of it. I am not a PC gamer, to my brother's detriment. Um, but yeah, that's why I'm here. And, we've had a wonderful community that I've gotten to know a little bit, including my co host. So just sit back, relax, and I will let him share his part.
Alright. I started with the Game Boy Color back when I was 4. I got my first game, Pokemon Crystal. Started, I played all the Pokemon games, all side games, at least once, all the way through. So that's like one of the things I like to play and cover is Pokemon. Alongside, a little later, Metroid on the Game Boy Advance and the Nintendo GameCube with the Prime games. And I've played all those. Those are some of my favorites. I also have had, I branched a little bit into Xbox and PlayStation here and there, like Halo and some other games, Battlefield. But I'm really nowadays focused on Nintendo stuff, like Switch 2 games, everything on there. I plan on covering a lot more when Prime 4 eventually comes out, and hopefully Age of Imprisonment I can cover. Um, Also, Air Ride, big fan of the original, so I can play. I can't wait to play that. But I've been here since basically N64-ish era, and that's basically was my first. Well, I got GameCube and N64 at the around the same time, but that's around where I started. Was that in the Game Boy Color? I've always enjoyed it. I like staying positive with a lot of things, so I like watching and making positive content, not really into much negative stuff. I try to focus on the positive. I will bring up negatives if I feel they're warranted, but most of the time I like to stick to positives because I like to focus on the fun parts of gaming. Not I don't focus too much on the negative, although I will bring it up if I need to. And we got to hear. I really, when I was younger, I was a lot of stage fright and stuff. So I that got better over time, and now that I'm able to do this, it's much more fun for me to do this instead of, just gaming by myself. And it's been fun. I looking forward to do many years of this. So tonight I think we plan to basically review what we've played so far of Legends ZA and the new Pokemon game. And I have not finished it 100% or even gotten through the entire campaign, but I will give my first impressions on this episode. So that what I've done so far. And next episode, I plan to do my actual review. I tried to finish it before this one, but I didn't have enough time to get it all through. So I'll try to get it all through by next week. Should be definitely done by then. Hopefully most of the side quests done. And then I'll let Tabby talk here about what she thinks of the game first, because I'm pretty sure I'm farther than her in it. So I want to get her thoughts first so I know where she's at, and then I will give my thoughts. Tabby?
So, yeah, he's definitely further ahead. I've only got about 15 hours into it. You know, I have kids. He doesn't. Makes it a little harder.
Indeed.
Um, so I literally just last night got to trainer F. So
Okay.
I'm at least that far. Um, but yeah, as far as my Pokemon history and what I've played in the past, I'm enjoying the game. If I compared this to Arceus and stuff, I like the fact that it's as open to some degree as Arceus. I think Arceus had just a little bit more open world to it.
Yeah.
But you had
More
to go through all
exploration.
these. Yeah, you had to go through all these little hoops to get from one section to another. Where at least with Pokemon Legends ZA, it's only on, the one little city, and you don't have as many open doors as what you had with Arceus. As far as fighting, I'm loving it. You're not just sitting there and taking turns and waiting for the next person or whatever. You're pretty much real time going at it. And I like that fact. You also have to keep your person out of the way of getting hit, because if not, it's going to kill them too. And then you've got the gentleman that, salvages all your Pokeballs with your missed throws. So you're not actually losing any of your product as you're going along and have spent money at all your little Poke shops. I think the timing of the day versus night could have been a little slower. It
Mm-hmm.
seems to change a little on the fast side, or at least for me. And in the beginning with Urbane, that kind of drove me nuts. I'm not sure what the female version of his is called. But yeah, he kind of drove me nuts at the beginning, because he was sitting there and basically holding your hand through gameplay, and it's like, just let me loose. So now I'm at least loose, and poor City's getting it left and right. But comparing that to the Pokemon games we've had for the Switch, it's definitely way better than Scarlet and Violet. I enjoyed Scarlet and Violet, but not nearly as much as I'm enjoying ZA. I think they rushed Scarlet and Violet too much, and it still has way too many little glitches. But I'm also hearing things like, it's got a flat feeling to it and not a lot of emotion in it. And I think for what this game is and for what it was actually meant for, I don't see that. You're looking at actually targeting kids from 4, 5, 6 years old and up. Just because I grew up with it and I've played it doesn't mean that everybody's had that experience. So if you're a new player to it, even as an adult, you're getting a whole different system than what we had when we were kids. It's kind of cool watching them do the let's go Pikachu and let's go Eevee, and that kind of redid Gen 1 a little bit and brought it to a newer system. But then you got into Brilliant Diamond, Brilliant Pearl, and it's literally like having Game Boy on your Switch, which kind of bored me, actually. I enjoyed it on my 3DS, but I'm like, this isn't really that much fun on the Switch. It would have been better if they'd brought it to life a little more, like let's go Pikachu or let's go Eevee. But yeah, as you're getting into ZA at the beginning and you get a little further along, and you learn how the gameplay actually works, it actually makes it a little easier. And then going back and trying to play Violet or even Sword and Shield, and it's like, where's my buttons? Struggling with that just a little bit. It's kind of like going from Nintendo to PlayStation. Everything's out of order. So um, that is more or less where I'm at with it. I know Paul has definitely more going on with his uh, opinions on it and what he's done, and he's also a little further along in it. And I noticed before I let him have it that Streamlabs is first defending people. Not sure what that's about on this end so far. It might be a language thing, so if it is, guys, just kind of keep it to a minimal. And no politics, no racial slurs. Sorry that we didn't mention that in the beginning.
Yeah.
But if you have any other questions, absolutely will answer them. And I know Pokemon fans in there saying hello to Reese. She is in there with Dad for a change. Don't be surprised one of these days she sneaks through the door somehow, though. Paul?
Yeah, so I do want to say I have seen images of the ending. I'm not going to spoil anything here, but I would highly recommend if you're trying this game out, play till the end. Play till the end. I don't think you'll regret playing to the end if you play it all the way through, and you don't want to quit like halfway through this game. The ending is pretty epic. I've seen images of it, but only images. And man, does it look cool. I am thoroughly excited to get to that point in the game. I am at rank B right now in the game, and there's some epic stuff coming. I can feel it ramping up towards where I'm at. And I'm trying not to go into any spoilers for Tabby here, so, like, how I look at it is, yes, I think Legend Arceus does have more, obviously, more open areas, but I do think this is far more NPCs, far more crowded. Obviously, it's a city. And I do think, unlike some people, it is populated enough to be considered, a less crowded city. Obviously, it's Pokemon where people are out and venturing and stuff, so I don't think it would be as crowded as a real life city anyways, like in real life. So, yeah, I think it's populated enough. I like how they have, people walking around with their Pokemon, people talking with their Pokemon out. It's all very, to me, I think it feels lived in. I know some people don't, but I do. Because there's Pokemon, roaming around with people. There's also Pokemon, like, in the trees and, so I don't think it's like an empty city or a soulless city. I don't think that at all. And so, like, me and Tabby, I think we agree on that. I do think some buildings, not all of them, have a lot of, like, the textures need a little work, but, like, in terms of, like, so, like, a lot of people say the whole city feels, copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste. Not all of it looks like that. I think people are just getting images on their devices and posting the worst possible images they can find just to, make it look bad. But it doesn't look that bad. I don't think it does. And, like, most of the game, I don't think it looks that bad. And so there's that. I'm trying not to get into spoilers. I know, Tabby, you're about, I would say, halfway through. So I'm just trying to avoid most of the spoilery stuff that comes up. Let's see. I've gotten some of the trade evolutions in the game thanks to a buddy of mine in real life that I go and trade with him. So that helps me get the Pokedex filled out pretty early. I'm not going to mention his name, but, like, he's been a big help. And there's a lot of my favorite Pokemon in this game. I do like it, although doesn't have my absolute favorite Pokemon as far as I know so far. Politoed. I love Politoed. And that's one of my, like, that, I've heard some rumors of some of my other favorite Pokemon coming, which I don't want to mention because that could be considered spoilery, so I'm not going to mention the other one here. But that could be in the game getting maybe a Mega. Maybe. Hope it didn't change from what I've heard. But it's possible. I don't want to mention the name of that Pokemon because, again, that could be spoiler. In terms of story stuff, I think the story has much better writing than the last couple Pokemon games. Definitely better writing, in my opinion. Definitely than Scarlet and Violet. That game, buggy. I don't think the writing was as good as this. Even though it's a Pokemon game, so the writing still isn't top notch or anything, but to me at least. But that's not why I play Pokemon games. I feel like I play Pokemon games for the character design, both Pokemon and the actual character designs of the player, I think are really good in this. I think there are a couple NPC characters that you'll see roaming around the city that look a little similar. I think might be one. I've seen maybe one or two that might be the same. I'm not 100% sure on that. I haven't really bothered to look into that too much, but I do notice there's a lot of diverse characters in the city that I'm enjoying that. I know in Legends Arceus there was a few characters that looked almost identical to previous games, and I kind of wish they looked a little different than their what they called ancestors, I guess. I thought they looked pretty identical to their characters from Gen 4, which is Diamond, Pearl, Platinum. I thought they looked pretty much identical, just different clothes on, and that I wish was a little different in Arceus. But in this game, it's like pretty much all new characters, and it's a great time. I highly enjoy the combat. The combat's great. I feel like it's a very balanced version of action combat and like a cozy combat where you don't have to be like moving around. You don't like, it's not, I have to do this. I have to like move out of the way. I have to be like constantly on my toes. Not exactly. You can technically play this like a turn-based, just with the action combat. You move around a little bit, and you can still probably make it through the game, but that's a lot more difficult than just actually focusing in. So it's not a must, but it's a great balance between action combat and the cozy feeling of Pokemon. And I really like that. You can do it either way. It feels like you can get both, kind of the feeling of both in one game, and I really enjoy that. I hope they in the next maybe hopefully Gen 10 or Gen 11 they put this combat in the game. I hope one of those has it, because I'm very much looking forward to them maybe hopefully continuing with this combat. I do very much think this is one of my favorite things Pokemon has ever added, is the combat of this game. I really like it. And I do like having the you still can catch Pokemon with just by throwing Pokeballs at them. But the thing I noticed is you can't just like throw it without. You have to target the Pokemon first, I think, to actually hit them with a Pokeball, as far as I can tell. And that one, I kind of wish you could just aim it around. Like throwing the Pokeball, you just aim and throw. But no, you have to lock onto the Pokemon to actually hit it with a Pokeball, as far as I can tell. I mean, I haven't tried much of the aiming freely, but every time I try, it just phases through the Pokemon. So you do it. I'm pretty sure you have to lock onto the Pokemon to catch it. Now you can correct me if I'm wrong in either one of our chats, but I'm pretty sure that's how I've noticed it works. There's a good variety of Pokemon. I believe if you think the areas all look the same, you haven't played far enough yet. I will say that much, and you need to play farther into the game, because that's not a accurate. I feel. And I'll go that far with that. No farther. Unless you want to ask me in like Discord or something. If you join Tabby's Discord or something, you can ask me in there. But I ain't spoiling anything on stream here as best I can. But yeah, overall I think it's a good game. I think it's a pretty darn good game, actually. There is obviously things they will work on. Obviously, it's a modded 3DS engine for the game, and so it's not going to look amazing. So people that are expecting to look amazing, I think, should have tempered their expectations a bit. However, I am much for like graphics wise. I'm looking more forward to Gen 10 for that, or maybe even Gen 11, because that's their brand new engine coming that they've made from the ground up for that. And I'm very excited for those. But as for ZA, I think it's for what they've done, and you got to keep in mind it's Switch 1 game as well, so you got to get work on there. And what I've heard, it runs pretty good on there, at pretty solid FPS. So yeah, I think they did a good job. I think they did pretty darn good for what the hardware they had and the time they had to develop the game. But yeah, I think they did good. Is there anything else, Tabby, you wanted to mention about the game?
No, I'm ready to go on to the next topic. You said
All right.
you had a whole list.
Yeah. And I think, did you want to talk about anything about like other games coming? Anything like that? Like maybe Age of Imprisonment or Kirby Air Raiders? Like what you're looking forward for that?
A few of us are ready for Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment.
Yeah.
only got a week left, guys.
Yep.
Um,
We got.
I'm blanking out. I apologize. It's been a long day.
Oh, I bet.
Um, getting back to the Pokemon stuff where people were saying, why was Tony timed out? Why was Tony timed out?
If there's any, oh, you might ask, is there any questions they have for us before we move on to the next topic? I will give them that. Any questions they got for us about the Pokemon thing before we move on to anything else?
That's funny. Apparently, Streamlabs decided to time out my husband. Out of all things, what did he do? Um, so I noticed a few chats. I was going to go back up to the top here if y'all give me a second. That was where we were all delayed. So someone is mentioning what I know is one of your favorite subjects, Paul. Metroid Prime 2 Echoes.
Oh, hopefully, yeah, I'm hoping they do announce that. Hopefully, I don't have any information, but I'm hoping, my hope is they announce that in the Metroid Direct for Prime 4. They say, like, oh, Prime 2 and 3, maybe just, like, a bundle pack or something might come in that. That's kind of my hopes for that. I'm not really expecting that. I want that to be, like, a surprise for me. So, what I'm, like, looking for is the hope for that. But I think if that happens, it would be in a Prime 4 or Metroid-like Direct that, who knows, could be coming anytime soon, according to some of the other YouTubers that I watch, like on Just Restart. They think there's going to be a Metroid Direct, and they're pretty certain of it. They're pretty much expecting it at this point. I am close to being on that level of it, but I do think there will be a Prime 4 Direct. I'm just not sure if Prime 2 and 3 will be in there, but if it is, that's welcome to me, because I will play the heck out of those games.
So I know my brother also was a big Metroid fan, and he's actually looking forward to 4.
Yeah, but definitely.
Thanks to when he comes here, he finally got him a Switch too. He was enjoying playing Mario Kart World. I don't think we played a whole lot else with him when he was here, but I do know he was really getting into the Mario Kart World. And he's not much for playing against the computers, but that one didn't bother him too bad. So I was with him when he went and got his Switch 2 and had all the excitement of everything, and it was actually really kind of cool. Just watching his little face light up like a kid. But then, last few weeks too, you and I have both been streaming online. Sometimes we're streaming together, separate. I've been doing 1 or 2 days a week where I've been hosting just, gameplays with everybody, and I've enjoyed the crap out of that. You all have found that when laughing, you all get me snorting, especially if you get me laughing too hard. So, surprise! That's the embarrassing thing about, being in front of camera or whatever, and you get to hear yourself through all of this.
Yeah.
I'm not much for hearing myself, so.
I ain't either, but I enjoy streaming. It's fun. It's a fun thing to do.
It's been a lot of fun.
You just share excitement with other people.
You share the excitement with a lot of people. You're also trash talking each other left and right, and like the few that got the surprise stream with my kid last weekend, they found out that she's even worse at it than I am. Next time I will promise to duct tape her mouth.
I will say this. You mentioned your husband got a Switch 2. When I got mine, I was first in line to pick it up. I even have the sticker on my case for my Switch 2 that I put on there. That I got the Switch 2 case before the Switch came out, so I brought my case to put my Switch 2 in once I got it. And I put that first in line sticker right on the case, and I have it. I was first in line to get the Switch 2.
I didn't sit out in the lines that.
Oh, I did. I definitely did.
Not that I'm not dedicated, but.
Oh no, you're definitely dedicated. It's just I was like, I have to have it day one, and I'm like, I'm getting this.
Yeah, it was. when they first finally announced when it was coming out,
Yeah.
husband and I were talking, and I was getting so excited. So I started looking into, what this feature was going to do and what that feature was going to do and how the cartridges were going to work. And there was so much misinformation out there, it drove me insane.
Yeah.
And it was really frustrating because I was ready to say, screw it, I'll wait a couple years like I do with every other system. And he actually pointed me out to Nintendo Prime's YouTube page. So I'm listening to Nate talk about, the game cards, the difference between the game cards and the key cards, and digital downloading and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, this makes more sense. That no one else was willing to put out there. You had people like AVS and Nintending just absolutely making people not want a Switch.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I did see a couple of their videos first. But by the time I'd started watching Nintendo Prime, and then he had done his first podcast, so I was seeing his, uh, fellow podcasters with his best friend Eric and Thunderstash and Gamebird. I was getting more of an understanding as what Nintendo had planned for the Switch 2. Um, and then the hype and the excitement it was unreal. In fact, I was actually in tears when I wasn't going to be able to make the launch. It was just really frustrating, and I felt like a little kid who just wasn't getting her Christmas. But yeah, I got mine from Walmart. So when it finally came delivered, it had the little snack with it and the drink. And by the way, anyone who actually likes orange Coca-Cola, y'all are weird. I couldn't drink it. It was like drinking cough syrup. And then for whatever reason, they put the Hot Ones Pringles in there.
Oh, I can't do this.
I can't
Oh, there's no way I would eat. I don't eat like super super hot stuff. Like I don't eat the flaming hot Cheetos. Nothing like that. I can't do it.
Now I can eat the flaming hot Cheetos, love them, but those hot ones are beyond what the flaming hot Cheetos do,
like,
and I couldn't
anything
taste
right
it
below
for
the
a
flaming
while.
hot Cheetos I can do, but that's where I stop. It's kind of that stuff.
Yeah, that was beyond. Even my husband had a hard time eating them, and he loves spicy foods.
Okay.
So it was
That's
kind
something
of
to avoid
crazy.
for me.
Yeah, it was like, nope, avoid it. But yeah, we enjoyed it and got it all hooked up and played Mario Kart World, and I think mine actually took a day or two to come in.
Okay.
But once we got it, we were playing. It didn't take no time to get everything, flat out installed from the OLED, which I did keep my OLED. I know a lot of people either sold their Switch 1 or whatever. But I've got my OLED hooked up to my computer so I can play it from here, and then I'll play the other one on the TV. But yeah, we've had a lot of fun with it even as a family, but the graphics difference is huge. And even when you put Violet into the Switch 2 versus my OLED and stuff, you could see a huge difference in how the landscaping and all the little graphics changed,
Yep.
and they were a lot smoother. I know a lot
Runs
of
a lot
people
better, and
yeah,
the draw distance is a lot better.
draw distance was better. A lot of people are talking about how the frame rates this and frame rates that, which I don't pay attention to. I actually have an eye problem, so to me the frame rates aren't as big as the graphics themselves. If you go back to Minecraft and the older Nintendo games and you're getting those 8-bit, graphics, that actually hurts my eyes. I really struggle
Okay.
with seeing all of those little pixels in such a big conglomerate, in my opinion, that it just gives me a headache. So, getting into the better graphics as you go is something I pay attention to. As far as your frame rate, as long as it's a smooth transition, you're not going to hear me complain.
Yeah. I prefer, like, with games, I do prefer FPS over graphics as long as they can get it to, like, a good, especially with Switch 2, I look for those 60 FPS games or higher. And I think they've done great with some of the games so far. I loved Donkey Kong Bonanza. That was a great game. I loved this Legends EA game so far. I'm very much looking forward to getting that ending I mentioned. I've seen the images I've seen are just bonkers to me. Like it might be, to me at least, in my opinion, an even cooler ending than Donkey Kong Bonanza. It looks like the images I've seen look amazing. To me, it might be better than that. Like at least
Have you
the
tried
ending
any of
part.
the Link games, as far as battles and stuff?
In terms of like leaked battles.
No, the Link games that you can play on the Pokemon with other people.
Oh, like other people, yeah. Those are the online battles are great. I'm very much enjoying them. I do think they might have been better to lock it to 3 instead of 4 people because it feels like in some of the maps they have for like the PvP, it does get a little crowded, and it feels like you get knocked out a little too often. I think they could have limited it to 3 people. I mean, in private like battles online, when you do it with a private match, you can do 3 people or 2 people instead of all 4. But online ranked battles, that's with 4 people. So, and it gets a little crowded sometimes, not on all the maps. There's some maps that are big enough, I think, to hold 4 people and have a good match. But there's one or two that, to me, get a little crowded.
Yeah, I've only done the one trade with Kodiak,
Okay.
which everybody saw on stream the other day. In here, you'll find Kodiak as Mr. 3D Print Wizard, and actually check out his stream because he does a lot of online gaming and stuff. He's actually pretty cool. But yeah, that's how I got out of Kazam the other day, was, you know, taking Kadabra and trading it off, and we traded back so that he didn't have to worry about re-leveling up my Pokemon. Goodness knows I just did a really quick playthrough just to get it up there. But yeah, I'm wanting to try the Link battles. That's probably what I'll do next because they've got that one seasonal prize. So
yeah, the once you get to rank a certain rank, you get the Greninja-ite, which is the Mega Stone for Greninja. So I've been recommending to a lot of people to play through at least to whatever rank you get that at.
I got the Froakie, and you know, when he's in your box, he looks so pissed off. But you go and actually look at his screen, and he's just got this happy little smile. Yeah. But when he's sitting in your box, the first little picture is just this grumpy little frog.
Wants to be in your team.
He will be eventually.
He's good. I have a Greninja already, and it's really, really good. I have been using Gyarados, though, because I have a shiny one. So yeah. I've been just using that because it's shiny.
Go figure. I think I have found only the Mareep so far that's the shiny, and that was the one they pretty much gave you.
Yeah, you pretty much get given it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, can you go get this for me? And there it is. So if y'all haven't played yet, oops, spoiler. Shining hunting is something I want to do. I think that'd be fun. And if I have a complaint about ZA, it's the fact that you can't co-op play like you could on Violet and Scarlet.
That was a big, a mediocre letdown to me. Like, it's like not huge, but not super minor either. It's kind of in the middle there. Or it's just like, yeah, man, I really wish I could have ran around the city with some friends and stuff. So that is something. If you want that in your Pokemon game, you're probably waiting until Gen 10 next year for that.
I mean, you can game chat with each other. You just
you can do that.
Co-op play.
Yeah, like you can't run around the city together unless you're like in PvP matches, which is just an arena. But
but like you said, it's an arena. You're not going around the city. Yep, there went that blank. Just. Whew. Yeah, I know they've got a couple of games coming out that they had the PokeFriends that had just come out not long ago.
Mm-hmm. And
then what is it, Pokopia or something like that?
Yeah, Pokopia, I think is what it's called, or how you pronounce it, I think, is like that. But
it's like
Pokopia,
Pokemon farmers.
Yeah. With that creepy
ditto. Really cute. I'll be the little kid and play it. So.
I definitely will play it because it's a Pokemon game and I play all of them.
I know one other person in the group here who'll play it. Pokemon fan. You know, I know she's looking forward to it.
And I do want to do a quick shout out because otherwise I probably wouldn't have done this unless I had gotten a little bit of practice doing some of their call-in streams. Is Hidden Power Podcast. I do want to shout out them because they're the ones that gave me the guts to actually start streaming, and that made it. I realized how fun it was just for me to stream, share the fun. They're really nice people over there. I am wearing one of their merch shirts right now. Hidden Power Podcast is another great podcast. I do watch them regularly, and I'm pretty sure they have a call-in show tomorrow. That I might try to wake up early enough to get on. But like I think it's at 2 p.m. tomorrow is their call-in stream, so I'm gonna be probably doing that. You can probably see me over there.
Yeah, it you know, we all pretty much, everyone that's watching us pretty much watch the same streams.
Yep.
I've been enjoying, Nintendo Prime and his podcast on Wednesday nights. Alyssa Skysword, when she's, I think I said her name backwards, I apologize. She does Tuesdays and Thursdays and occasionally have a surprise stream in there. I really like her. She sits there and she'll do her games and she'll have little sayings as she's going. If the game's doing something funny, I get tickled at her. But then you've got like Paul Gale Network. Who knows what's going to happen there? His dog might come on. His chair talks. My chair's silent. It does things quietly, and you have to watch for that. But Paul Gale's chair is, very vocal, especially when he's up and not in the room. But we all have a good time. We've got a really good community when things are down or low. All we have to do is pretty much get into one of the Discord channels and say, hey, I've got this going on, and you've got at least 2 or 3 people reaching out privately and saying, hey, what's up? How can I help? Is it something you want to talk about? And that's another reason I wanted to do this stream and just talk games or whatever, because it's a way to give back to the community too, who's been here for me when we've had some rough times. We've had some good laughs. We've had 1 or 2 cries. But yeah, it's just something that you get into things like Pokemon and the Zelda coming up, which is my big game. I'm a huge Zelda fan. I've been playing it since the NES. I think I've played all but a handful of the 3D games for the Game Boy and stuff. And literally it's probably just about 2 or 3 that I've missed. And I'm really looking forward to Hyrule Warriors and to see what they do for their 40th anniversary next year. They're teasing us with things like Ocarina of Time remake, and then there's a lot of hype around the possibility of possibly a Twilight Princess Wind Waker maybe coming.
I hope that, but
that
Ocarina of Time remake's the big one.
Fans being super hot too. It may not even be a thing, but in my opinion, it should be.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah,
I am.
I mean, I've still got mine for the Wii U. I loved it. But it's such a pain to have to hook up the Wii U and make sure everything's charged or the cord's long enough to reach. I've got really used to the mobility of the switches. It doesn't have to just be on the TV. If I don't even want to sit in this room, I can take it to the living room or the kitchen. Or if we're taking a trip, take and play it in the car. So I've really enjoyed that, and if I have to go backwards to the Wii U just to play Twilight Princess or Wind Waker in the high def, it's like, oh wait. Right now Wind Waker's at least on NSO.
Which is at least, that to me, that's good enough, but I think they could do the HD one hopefully eventually. I'm hoping for that.
Well, the downside to that is you can't do the tingle stuff.
Yeah. I loved in the Wii U version the tingle bottles. That was like one of my favorite things to do. I miss the tingle bottles so much.
I actually kind of miss having my the little Game Boy SP where it was a little flip up and stuff. I had the Skyward 4 Swords on it where you could connect everything, and then whatever else you had to do with the Wind Waker and this, the cord. And I wish I hadn't sold it now, but who knew that games were going to go this far? Yeah. I knew PlayStation and stuff probably would take things in a totally different direction because they always went for that more realistic look with their graphics versus the cartoony fun stuff. Like Spyro. They eventually let Spyro go to other systems, which I was happy with because I've got a couple of them on GameCube.
Oh yeah, I remember the ones on GameCube. Those are pretty fun.
They were fun. I even liked it when they got into their other era of having the little characters that you could play with on that little portal. Forgot what it's called.
Skylanders, I think.
That's it. Thank you. Um, I think watching Mike Odyssey's stream earlier just kind of fried my brain because he was having the same problem. Um, but yeah, I've got a lot of the first game characters and most of the giants. And after that, you kind of lost me because money was a little bit tight. I was a single mom then. Even though my daughter and I love playing those games, it just got to where it's like, kids gotta have clothes, food, things will have to wait.
Yeah, have clothes.
Now I've been looking for them on eBay, and they're like such a pain to find. But yeah, and that's the other thing about these games I enjoy on the Switch and stuff is you get the little amiibos. I have all the Zelda ones except for Minryu, which we're still waiting to hear about. Is that coming out next week in a surprise drop, or they wait until next year? Haven't heard anything.
So, there's also the Metro Prime 4 amiibos, which I pre-ordered them. They are actually my first amiibos I will ever have gotten because I didn't really bother to get like the actual statues of amiibos. I do have the cards that like you scan that are basically amiibos without being in the statue, but the Metro Prime 4 ones are the first statue ones that I will actually have ever gotten, and I am very excited for those as well. And those do remind me a little bit actually of the Skylanders statues they used to have for that. That I feel like the amiibos, to me, they started digitally in Smash Bros. Melee, and then they actually brought them to life, and that's why I've always admired that about amiibos. Is they're just the little Prime Smash trophies, but real, and I love that. So I'm very excited to get my first ones when the Prime 4 ones drop in November, the first two at least. I'm very excited for those. We got the Prime 4 art book coming tomorrow, so that'll be exciting.
Are we unveiling that next week, or are we waiting?
Probably next week. Yeah, I can bring it on stream. Show some pages, so anyone that wants to do that can tune in next week, and we'll definitely have that next week. So, but I don't have it yet, so I can't tune in right now.
Hopefully by next week we're less technical problems.
Yeah,
more
from
on
the start.
time, less scatterbrained. And a few more topics to talk about so that we've got a little bit more going on. I know this is our first. I know Paul's got his background with the Metroid going on, and I'm doing holiday stuff. I think it's a little on the fun side, unless it's boring y'all to death. Make sure you tell us too. We want to know, is this what y'all are into? Is it working for you, or are we just really boring the crap out of everybody, or made it too much? So I know Pokemon fans watching football and trying to watch us. She's really liking Legends EA. It's addicting.
Oh yeah, very addicting. The combat is just super addicting. I love it so much.
And husband saying, "What's up, bro? Brothers, what's up, bro?" Mario Master Hyrule Warriors is going to be awesome. I think so. And you all may have to remind me when that comes out and I get my copy to actually get online, because I tend to get lost when I'm playing Zelda games and forget what time it is, or even what day it is sometimes. Breath of the Wild actually was first Zelda game that caused me to literally lose track of time. A little girl would come in and she's like, Mom, I'm hungry. I'm like, it's not even time to, oh my gosh. Hours.
It's time for school. It's the next day.
No, that never happened because unfortunately I didn't have that a job. Far.
Because I've had some days in the past when I was in school still, and I would be like gaming at night, and then like I realize it's like 4 a.m. and I'm like, oh crap, I gotta go to bed. I have school today.
Yeah, I didn't.
That was a long time ago.
Wind Waker and stuff came out for its first seeing. I was one of them that got it early because I was subscribed to that Nintendo magazine back then.
Yeah.
And I was so happy when I knew it was coming because I was sick for work that day.
Okay.
I haven't done that since because I do have a kid to raise
Yep.
and whatnot. I usually try to schedule vacations around certain games if I knew they were coming out, though. That way I didn't have to be down with the cold.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we orange coke's gross. Yes, it was. Um, but yeah, we I wasn't as big of a fan as the cartoony look to it. Um, but then, Twilight Princess and stuff came out, and I was like, okay, we're back to Ocarina of Time, basically cartoons, and I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Um,
So,
sorry, my computer's
real
being
quick, I
slow.
will say this. I remember seeing, I believe it was on the Ocarina of Time and the Master Quest version of it. They had a little, like, some trailers for games, I think, that were also on GameCube. Because that was on the GameCube version of Ocarina of Time, I believe. There were some trailers on that where you could actually, and one of them was Wind Waker. And I remember seeing
Mm-hmm.
that being like, this game, and I know a lot of people did hit on the graphics some back then or quite a bit. I was like, this game is going to be like, the graphics are going to last a long time because like that kind of graphics they usually don't age as quick as like realistic graphics do on that style. Like I think nowadays Wind Waker holds up better than Twilight Princess does in terms of like art style, and it just I feel like that holds up longer. So I would like, and that's one reason I do like the. I feel Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are a good balance between the Twilight Princess and the Wind Waker of it all. It's a very good middle ground, so I think those will hold up pretty well too. Um, I'm not sure if they'll hold up as long as Wind Waker did. I just think that style is like timeless and will age very long for a very long time. Just keep the buzz around it very well. As Twilight Princess to me is one of my favorites because I love the boss fights, the dungeons in that game. Um, the graphics, however, I think that one needs probably like a remake or remaster more than Wind Waker does, in my opinion, because of the art style for it, and I just feel like that could, I think, benefit more from it. So that's why if they do like the ports for them and they're more HDified or whatever, I think I'm probably going to be more excited for Twilight Princess than I would be Wind Waker. But if they were just regular like ports over, I'm more excited for Wind Waker. But with the remaster remake, I'm actually more excited for Twilight Princess for that. Like more of a remaster. I just want those to be updated a little bit, tweaked a little bit, graphics wise,
Yeah.
but with the resolution.
Well, I
So I
know.
think that would help it a little bit. Because I put it on GameCube back in the day a lot. And man, I could say, for me confidently, overall, I think Twilight Princess has some of the best overall boss fights in any Zelda game. I love those boss fights. Also, it's my favorite Ganondorf, so say that with you what you will, but I love that Ganondorf so much. My favorite Ganon, still Ocarina of Time, very end. Love that Ganon, but Ganondorf, it's Twilight Princess for me. And then like my next favorite would probably be the Tears of the Kingdom Ganondorf. I do like him a lot, but it's definitely my favorite is Twilight Princess Ganondorf. I think Hyrule Warriors took that Ganondorf and made him a little too far that direction. So for me, that's why he doesn't hold up as well. And I think it's Age of Calamity, right? Has Ganondorf in it, or is that the one before Age of Calamity? In the Hyrule Warriors
The one
games,
before.
the one
Yeah,
before.
it's gonna be the one before.
Okay, so it's
Yeah, cause
I've seen like gameplay of that, and it's like that design not my Ganondorf anymore. It's like to me, it's still a cool design, but it's not my favorite in any way. Of like, I feel they took that one a little too far in that direction. But
yeah,
a lot of they have a lot of cool Ganondorf designs out there. I love seeing him as a villain. He's a really cool villain. I also I won't play the game once, but the villain I would love to see them in the next Zelda game. Maybe take a step back from Ganondorf and maybe do a different villain, like they did with Majora or other villains they've done. But like that something like Majora, where it's like a big villain they could do other than Ganondorf would be really cool to me. I don't want it to be Majora again, but I would like something different than Ganondorf. And again, because we have done a lot of Ganondorf, and I think they could do something very interesting that's different. Like I know they when Twilight Princess was coming out, I'm like, oh, they're doing something other than Ganondorf, and then it turns out to be Ganondorf again. But it's a cool Ganondorf, but it's still Ganondorf, and I think they need to just do a whole game again where it's not even related to Ganondorf. Maybe it's still whether that's the Curse of Demise making something else evil, and then that's the evil thing. But I think they could do something really cool with other villains, and I would love to see it. Can't wait for the next Zelda, Hyrule, after Age of Imprisonment. But Age of Imprisonment is where it's at right now. I'm very excited for that. I'm excited to. It'll be my first Warriors game because I've been waiting for a canon one that's actually canon to the timelines without being a split timeline or anything. I'm very interested in this one. It looks great. Looks like it plays great. Can't wait to play it. I plan to do a lot of the split screen stuff and all that. It's been the first split screen game I would have played in like several years now. And I haven't had many split screen games to play. Very excited for it. But yeah, Tabby, you got anything to say about Age of Imprisonment coming? What you're excited for?
I'm curious to see what the little Link-looking character actually is
Oh
going to
yeah.
be called.
Okay, yeah, I didn't even
You know,
touch
they've
that.
let that slip now and given us more of a look of him and what he can do. So I'm really curious how that's playing out. And you know, has it got Link's spirit, or
Yeah.
is it actually like one of his ancestors that we haven't had a name of yet? You know, watching the last couple of trailers and comparing them to each other, there's the graphics and the way the gameplay itself is going to be. It's going to be interesting. Going to need more fingers than what I've actually got. Um, I think one of the cool things about it is they have made this one canon. You know,
Yeah.
um, I've enjoyed the Hyrule Warriors games. I've played it from the first one, and I've even got the Fire Emblem Warriors games, and I've enjoyed those too. But they haven't made them canon like they have with Age of Imprisonment. So we're going to get to see that backstory where Zelda went to the past, not just in glimpses. But I'm curious as to, we know how it ends in Tears of the Kingdom, but where's the system going from there? You know, are they going to make a third game that's going to come out in Tears of the Kingdom format in Breath of the Wild, or are they going to just go off onto a whole new story?
Yeah.
And I'm really wanting to see that. That's been my biggest thing.
Yeah. So
And
I have a quick
my
theory
husband's on there
actually
saying,
now that
let's
you
get
mentioned
Demise.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you mentioned it could be like maybe a spirit of Link in that construct that we've seen in the trailers. They did give me an idea and a theory of I would love to see, because you know, as we know, when Zelda travels back in time in Tears of the Kingdom, she goes back before any of the other Zelda games to the very first iteration of Hyrule, I guess you'd say, and that to me is interesting because like if they have the spirit of Link in this construct somehow, and we don't really see it. I don't think we see it from what I remember in the flashbacks in Tears of the Kingdom. So if that gets left behind somehow, maybe it's like in a way, not necessarily a direct spirit of Link as in like the Tears of the Kingdom Link, but a spirit of some sort where they can like, if it gets left behind or like captured by Ganondorf, maybe they take the spirit out of it, and that's what creates the Dark Links and stuff. Because we know they have like the Phantom Ganons. What if that's similar to this, and like they get like that's where all these Phantom Links are coming from? I think that would be a really interesting idea. I doubt it'll happen, but I think that's a cool just idea. I just thought that would be cool. I mean, an interesting theory, but I doubt it's true or anything. I think that it's a cool theory.
Yeah, that would be definitely different.
Yeah, fascinating.
I think Skyward Sword was like the first actual storyline.
Yeah, but doesn't this take place before then? If I'm not if I'm correct, this like Age of Imprisonment stuff that's before Skyward Sword, I would think, right?
100% sure on that part.
You can ask if Scholar Alyssa's in your chat. You should ask her because I'm pretty sure that's where this takes place. I have to relook at the timeline stuff, but
Yep,
I'm pretty certain it's before Skyward Sword.
Yep,
which
we've got Skyward Sword Alyssa, and we've got Nintendo Prime in here. So
yeah. So I'm
shout
pretty
out
sure
to
this
both
takes
of
place
them.
before all that, which would make it very interesting.
Um, I'm just curious as to where they're going to go from there. I mean,
Oh yeah,
they've
it's
made this
I'm so
canon that's
fascinated in what they're
so
doing.
different. I'm trying to see what everybody's saying here. Ryan's like Ninty Prime in the house.
Yeah, there you go.
Legend Brosh is whoa. Husband wants to see Demise as the next boss for Zelda, so that'd be interesting.
If he made a return, it would be big. I hope they gotta make it big.
I mean, they could do something like that.
I honestly don't think that's where they're going, but that would be pretty
probably
cool.
not.
But I don't think that's where they're going.
I think we need another
Brand
gameplay
new.
where Zelda's actually, the playable character.
That would be
Again.
cool.
She's
I
her
would
own
hope
hero.
they eventually do another one of those.
Yeah.
Like
I like
Echoes of
Echoes
Wisdom, which I
Power.
love, but I want them to do a 3D one. Big.
I liked it as far as the gameplay. I would like different graphics. It was
Mhm.
cute with the Link of Awakening graphics and stuff.
Yeah.
But now we need to see something a little bit stronger for her.
I mean, we got Age of Imprisonment. That's probably what we're getting. But I would hope, like, in the next big 3D Zelda, we get, like, at least more sections of actual playable Zelda in that. Where, like, we still play as Link a lot of the game, but, like, maybe there's, like, sections where you play as Zelda. I think that would be pretty cool. And to do more of that in a big 3D Zelda. Like, kind of like how they do with Spider-Man 2 on PlayStation, where you play as Mary Jane, but this one would actually be cool. I know a lot of people aren't fans of the Mary Jane segments in Spider-Man 2, but if it was a 3D Zelda game with, like, playable sections of Zelda, or maybe you swap between Zelda and Link, or even at will, that would be pretty cool, where you just, like, use a control to swap between Zelda and Link, and I think that would be an epic thing in Zelda to do.
I mean, that's, again, where you get back into Hyrule Warriors.
Yep.
You get all those different gameplays. That was one thing I did like about the original Hyrule Warriors is you had, like, Impa that you could play.
Yeah.
The Impa in Age of Calamity is a different style of Impa than what we were used to, and a younger Impa, unlike the little old lady you get in Breath of the Wild.
Regardless, she is a badass.
It was kind of a system shock when you get to Kakarika Village and Impa's just this small little aged thing going on, so it was really
Don't
cute.
underestimate her. She can still really wreck shop with a lot of stuff like she did in Echoes of Wisdom. She can still wreck stuff.
Yeah, she was really good.
You never underestimate
my words.
Impa.
I hear myself, guys. I know I've done it. But yeah, that's out next week. And I know we're not the only ones looking forward to it. I'm seeing Mario Master talk about it, Legend of Brosh.
Oh, yeah. The Korok looks great as well. I can't wait to see what's up with him in Age of Imprisonment.
The little Korok? He
Yeah, the
actually
Korok,
has
yeah.
a voice.
Yeah, and I'm so excited. I love the Koroks. I love the Children of the Forest and Ocarina of Time. It's very fascinating. Do they choose that form, I guess? But, like, yeah, it's fascinating. I like that.
I'm not going to lie. The first time the Koroks came into the scene, they drove me insane.
Oh, I love them
away.
playing the music on the violin and stuff, or whatever. It was so cool. I loved them.
I like the way in Tears of the Kingdom you've got to kind of escort a few of them around. And I've watched a lot of the YouTube reels and stuff.
Yep.
People being really mean to those little guys.
Oh, I've seen, like, some nasty stuff with the Koroks and what they do to them. I don't approve. I like the Koroks, so I don't do that stuff to them.
I'm not going to lie. I've probably shot one or two of them off the rock.
I love them.
It's like, let's just get
I don't think I like them as much as the Gorons, though. The Gorons are some of my favorite. I love the Goron stuff. They're just so cool. I like the Gorons a lot. Which I hope they do good in the movies with those. I'm very much looking forward to this live-action Zelda movie with the Gorons. I want to see Gorons in there. I like my Gorons.
as to how they're going to make the Gorons.
Yeah, I'm very, like, interested in it. Is it going to be, like, practical? Is it going to be CGI? Who knows? It'll be interesting to see. Very excited for the movie.
That's cute, Alyssa. I like that. Little 3-year-old likes the Koroks. She's got some, gonna have to teach her how to play now. Now's the
Yeah.
time to start her.
I mean, Zoras are cool too. I just love the humor of the Gorons. I mean, all the way back to the Goron hug of Ocarina of Time. Love that scene. Just love. I love Darunia. I love them all.
Darunia was pretty cool.
They're freaking great. Oh
Uh,
man, those were
That's
great
a game we
characters.
actually need to finish streaming.
Yeah, we do. I need to go back and finish that after. Hopefully, I can get some time into that before Age of Imprisonment comes out. But I gotta see if I can finish ZA first. I will
was
be
gonna
going
say,
back to
we've
that,
got
though.
Pokemon first, and then that's coming out by
Yeah.
next week. I don't
Yeah.
see that happening.
It's gonna be wild.
Probably be next year before we get to finish it.
Possible, but we will get back to that
Yeah,
for sure.
I hope so. I mean, I know you're up to Kirby Air Riders. That was one
Prime
of them
4
that I
is
was like,
after Kirby Air Riders, but
yeah. I was a dead no on Kirby Air Riders
oh,
until the last.
okay, there you go.
Yeah, when we watched that stream the other day, and I was like, that
It's
has more going
phenomenal.
for it.
I remember playing City Trial on the first one for hours on end. With my some buddies would come over, we would hook up all our controllers to the GameCube, just play the heck out of it, of City Trial. I mean, it was just hours of City Trial on end. It was, oh, I love City Trial. It's so good. I can't wait for this new one. And I know there's probably not going to be any DLC or anything, but I am still over the moon for it. Can't wait for it to play all these new characters in it. Chef Kawasaki, Marks is going to be really cool to play. I know if Prime's in the chat, we're not playing Henry the Hamster. We can hate hamsters together, but we always got Marks and other characters to play. Freaking Rick. We're not playing Rick.
I think it would be kind of funny to play Rick.
I'm not playing him. I'm gonna be too busy playing the Chef Kawasaki. I love my Chef Kawasaki. That's my character.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't know,
It's hilarious.
any of the characters for Kirby. I've not played
Okay.
Kirby, so other than doing Smash Brothers with Kirby on there and a couple of the
Okay.
characters, I'm kind of clueless.
I played a lot of the earlier games of Kirby. Like I started with Nightmare and Dreamland, went to Amazing Mirror. I can't remember which ones, some of the ones on the DS or 3DS, something like that. I can't remember those ones as well, but I have played some of those, not all of them. And I've played the Forgotten Land is the last one I played, which is the more current ones. And of course I played them in Smash a couple times. But I think the last time I actually played as Kirby in Smash was all the way back on Melee, when I mainly played him a lot more than I do now. But there's just so many characters in Smash at this point. It's hard for me to master them all. I can't do it. But I have a couple
Kirby's
ones I'm
fun
pretty
to
good at.
play in
Yeah.
Smash because he can turn into the other characters.
Yeah,
kind of, sort of.
he's really fun. I like Kirby a lot. He's a
Yeah.
fun character.
I'm looking to see if we ever get another Smash Brothers, how that's going to play out.
Oh, we're
because-
getting another Smash Bros. I'm pretty sure Sakurai's probably finishing up Kirby Air Riders and going straight to that.
We hope.
We hope. I mean, probably is.
So we're hearing that in the stream that we're getting a little bit of a sound delay.
Sound
Is that
delay?
right,
Okay.
guys? Looks like it's from both of us, so we need to fix that next time.
Yeah, we'll fix that.
Kodiak, we may hit you up on that since you seem to know that one program a little bit better. If that's okay with you.
It might be the latency option is possibly what is causing that, so.
Yeah. But yeah. I think I've covered everything tonight. We've been a little all over the place.
That's fine with me. I just love talking. It's a lot of
He
stuff to
does
talk
love to
about
talk, guys.
coming here.
He gets started, you don't get a word in. So, I want to say a shout out to everybody. You know, I'm seeing my swords Alyssa, who was lovely enough to grace us tonight. I really appreciate you. And y'all catch her on Tuesdays and Thursdays. She's usually on somewhere between 5 and 6 and goes a couple hours. You know, Nintendo Prime gave us a shout out, and I think his stream's probably either already started or starting soon. We've got Mr. 3D Print Wizard. He has his own channel, you know, hit him up. My brother's already hopped off here. He had to go help with his girlfriend's little boy. But, you know, it was awesome that he joined in and talked to us. Mario Master. I know him as Ryan. He gets on Mario Kart World and kicks every one of our asses. Except I think Mr. Roger Inyart, if he's here somewhere, can keep up with him. And our lovely shiny Metroid trainer here has given him a run for his money a time or two. Uh, and then we've got, did I say Legend of Brosh?
I don't think so.
Is on here, and my husband's on here. His is the Tony Pitts that you're seeing pop up. Mr. J Biggs, Mr. New York for Life is on here. He's a lot of fun and talking. I don't think Pokemon fans came back in yet. And anybody else that I haven't seen? I know Roger Inyart was at work. He didn't get to come and play with us like he was hoping to. It looks like everybody. If I missed anybody, I apologize. I've been trying to keep up with y'all. Again, this is just our first episode.
Yeah.
So we're hoping this goes, for a while. We're into season 1, episode 1. We don't want to die out anywhere between episode 3 and 12. We'd like to see a couple seasons out of this anyways. So, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and catch us next week. Y'all have a good night.
And buy Prime 4. All right.